Hey YouTube, and thanks for tuning in. So we're playing Planetside, once again, Planetside 2. It's been a while since I've posted a Planetside 2 video, and I'm kind of sorry for that, to be fair. I mean, I played a lot of Planetside during the beta and such, but then I started spending a lot of time playing other games. I kind of meant one of the games I didn't play as much anymore was Planetside. But the game is no longer in beta. It's been fully released. It came out just over a week ago. You know, I thought it was about time that I shared my thoughts with you guys on what the game is now like post-release. In the background, we've got some footage of me just playing as infantry, various classes of medic, assault, and then finally infiltrator. We've got this huge battle going on for the Faya geothermal plants. And this is the type of battle you can expect in Planetside 2. So for those of you who don't know, Planetside 2 is a first-person shooter MMO, and it's a big game release. To be fair, you know, people have been looking forward to this game, and it's on a massive scale as well. And you've got to remember that it's free to play. I think it's fair to say it's very unique in many ways, but the biggest uniqueness, if that's even a word for me, is just the size of the battles that you can have. You have three main factions battling it out over a huge continent or map. For certain area control, but the size of the battles is just, it's unrivaled. No other game close to, you know, even comes close to the size of these battles. You know, you generally have this feeling of massive scale, attack jets flying around overhead, ground vehicles all over the place, hundreds of troops all attacking a huge plant area. It's pretty spectacular. You know, think Battlefield 3 on steroids. And you start to get the idea of the size. Now, I went over a lot of the features of the game in my previous videos, which I'll put in the description. It was done during the beta, so obviously there's been a lot of changes and refinements, improvements in a lot of areas since the beta. But there's so many improvements and refinements it'd be hard to go over them all. But I'll put those videos below anyway in the comments for you guys to check out. The main thing is it feels a lot less buggy to me. In the beta, it did kind of feel a little bit buggy and sluggish, the movement and the weapons, but it feels a lot better now and a lot smoother. The game isn't as optimized as I would want, in my opinion. Maybe I don't think optimization is fair, actually, because I think they've done a lot of work on optimization. They've improved that area massively since the beta, but it's an area that I'd like to see more improvement on. But I'm not entirely sure it's optimization per se, but performance. When you look at the size of the battles, you have to take into account that this game looks beautiful, and with hundreds of people, you know, battling it out at the same time with vehicles, weapons, frames can drop quite considerably. I mean, the scale of what's going on is not easy to achieve whilst having graphics and nice graphics, and it's certainly something that not many other games will have. Or will be able to manage to achieve, let alone for a game that is free. But even though it's free, there's still plenty of money being pumped into it by you know, Sony. In this video, I'm getting roughly 30 to 40 frames. You've got to take into account though that I am recording the game as well, so that's obviously reducing my frames, and I don't have a dedicated capture card to do it. It does make my game slightly choppy when I'm recording, especially in the sniping bit. Later on it feels quite laggy, which made it a bit hard for me to snipe. But overall, the game is a lot better than it was in beta in terms of performance, but you will need a fairly good PC, and even if you've got a fairly good PC, in large battles, expect frames to drop a little bit. I mean, I'm running an i5 2500K. It's overclocked to 4.2 gig, and I'm running a GeForce 670 2 gig and 8 gig of RAM. So it's a pretty decent spec PC, but obviously if you're running it on full settings, full res, it'll run fine and it'll feel smooth, but expect a bit of a drop in huge battles. Now, the game releases with 3 continents that you can play, each with a different setting. You've got a snow map, more of a luscious green foresty map, and the standard map as well, or continent I should really call it. And then you've got 3 factions that you can choose to play for. So you've got the Vanu Sovereignty, the New Conglomerate, and the Terran Republic. I'm currently playing as Terran Republic, and I'm playing on the Esamir continent in this video, and I think each continent can hold like 2,000 players, so this kind of backs up what I was saying earlier, that there's some crazy battles going on, all throughout the map in different areas. Now, I'm playing pretty much infantry only in this particular video, but the vehicle gameplay is tons of fun as well, and it's something everyone can do. You can purchase vehicles using in-game resources that are built up by your team holding certain parts of the continent. So, if your team attacks a certain area, they gain control of it. The more areas you have, the more resources your team is building up. You can then use these resources to give yourself vehicles, meaning basically you're never going to be the guy sat at spawn, the Billy No mates that no one wants to jump into a tank with, a la Battlefield. You can just go buy yourself a tank and roll on into the distance if you wanted to. I jumped into this game on my own, and sure, you can do that, but it's advisable to get a few people together and work as a squad. When you look at the size of these battles, you realise you really need a big group of people to be able to make a noticeable difference, or at the very least, you need people in your squad that can work together. Now, I've played with a group of 3 or 4 people before that I knew, and I was talking to a mumble, and when you play smartly, you can take certain areas of the map on your own that you think are weak, but obviously, in the case of one of the big areas, like the one I'm showing in this video, that requires much more of a team effort, and you're going to need big squads that are willing to work together, to get it done. Now, I've really enjoyed Planetside 2 in the beta, and the game is very good. It's something that you need to try. I want to start playing it a lot more. Right now, I don't really have that many people that are playing it, so if you want to come and grab a game, we can maybe organise a game. If there's anybody watching this that wants to play, add me on Steam. I'll put my Steam account below, so you can add me and we can grab a game. There are tons of things that make this game good, but let me just say that you need to play it to realise its awesomeness. So go download it. It's free. Get it on Steam. I'm sure most of you have Steam, and get playing. It definitely deserves your attention. So let me know below if you want to see more Planetside 2 footage, and I'll make that happen. And as always, I'll see you on the next one.